So, welcome to Poly Role Models. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Deej McCoy. I am 30 years old. I am a Philly native, born and raised. Grew up in Northwest Philly. Um, I am polyamorous. I currently have, I guess I can say I have two partners.
Getting a little far there.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Brief
all.
introduction.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Let me. Well, the first question is, how long you've been polyamorous, or how long you've been practicing polyamory?
So I've been actually identifying as polyamorous as since about I learned about the term, I do believe, before I graduated from college. So I'd say like 2008, 2009. So about 9 or 10 years.
Okay. And what does your current relationship dynamic look like?
I have two partners. One, we're not particularly sexual. The other one, we are intimate. We hang out often. We cosplay together. We try to go to events and stuff. Um, and my partner also has a wife, and she and I are good friends, and but we are not in a relationship with each other. But we do try to like hang out, and then the three of us will hang out as like friends, and I'll be nuzzling with my partner, and so it's all fun and dandy.
Awesome, awesome. So, what aspects of polyamory do you feel like you excel at?
Communicating. Talking is so important because, and it's not just like, oh, I love you, like the happy things. It's also like the sad things, the insecure things, the like a lot of people tend to have baggage from other relationships, and it's not like you expect your new partner to do the same things. You're just afraid because you have experienced X, Y, or Z, and it's like, hey, just so that you're aware, I have this fear or this insecurity. I don't think you'll do it, but this is what my brain is doing because of past experiences. Please be patient. And my partner is really understanding and it's like, yeah, no, I understand. Anytime something comes up, just let me know if there's something I can do to like make you not feel that way. Just communicate, and that's one of my favorite parts because it doesn't have to be happy news for them to just be able to listen open-mindedly and not get angry. It's kind of astounding how many partners have gotten angry at me because I have an emotion that I don't even understand, and my partner's been really cool about that. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely understand that. All right. So, what aspect do you feel like you struggle with?
Not feeling like other partners are in competition with me. um, Growing up, people stress monogamy and you can only have one partner or you're a terrible person. And there were people who would say that they're polyamorous and it really wasn't. Like, I wasn't allowed to have other partners, but they were. So, like, and sometimes it came to a point where like another person would come into play and then the person that I started the relationship with preferred the new partner, and then it's like, all right, am I doing something wrong? Do I need to do more to prove myself worthy of that person's affection? And like, it's not a competition. Like, I can be desired for something completely separate from the other person,
Yeah.
and it doesn't I don't want to say it. Sometimes feelings and emotions are not equal, but that doesn't make them less valid. So,
Yeah.
like, just knowing that like other partners that may be involved does not negate my presence in the relationship dynamic. And that was a really
Yeah.
hard thing to accept.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel like you sort of how do you feel like you address that struggle, or or is there a way that you feel like you can overcome it?
Communication, and sometimes it's not just talking, it's about the other person too.
Yeah.
They have to be willing to listen to the information open-mindedly and not judge, not yell, not try to make any kind of like any kind of judgments about those emotions, because it may not be directly related to that partner. It's just
Yeah.
like, this is significant. This has bothered me in the past. So, yes, it's going to pop up when similar feelings may pop up. And, like, if as long as the other partner is willing to listen and, like, understand where you're coming from. And sometimes that person can't change how you're feeling. But just knowing that you can talk about your emotions and not, like, get into an argument, like, that's really important. Like, just that open communication on both ends helps me get past, like, just those negative thoughts.
I get you. In terms of risk aware or safer sex, what do you and your partners do to protect one another?
um as I mentioned, I'm only sexual with one of my partners. And at the beginning of our relationship, we would use protection every time we were sexual. We always used condoms. And we got to a point where we both got tested to make sure we didn't have anything. And then we have been fluid bonded for several months now. Um, Currently, neither of us have any new partners, and the relationship is still relatively new. It's less than a year old, but if any prospects of new sexual partners come up, we'll probably talk about it. Maybe just get tested again because we can.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about any potentially new partners.
Okay. Awesome. All right. What is the worst mistake you've made in your polyamorous history, and how did you rebound from that?
Hmm. The worst mistake. Not early on, not being as open about, like, between things I didn't know and just asking questions about things I was curious about. Like, talking, when you hide your emotions, the other person is not getting the opportunity to change what's going on. And little problems that could be addressed with a simple conversation just fester and develop, and then suddenly something small happens and everything explodes. And I have gotten into some severe arguments with some ex-partners because I was just so afraid of talking, because people would get upset at me when I talked about stuff. But
Yeah.
then it became a big issue because it exploded, and I, there was physical confrontation involved in some of those. So I can't say I'm particularly proud of that. But if you don't talk about problems when they're small, they end up being these huge things that don't need to be huge things.
Yeah. I understand that 100%. So, what self identities are important to you, and how do you feel like being polyamorous intersects with or affects these identities?
So I am a non-binary, gender fluid, trans dude. Um, how it intersects with polyamory is a very good question. And I've been thinking about that one because, like, I usually don't think about, like, my identities in relation to my polyamory, because I've recently been able to, like, accept more of myself and present that when I'm dating. So that's kind of new. I've only been, like, really out as trans for about, I'd say, 2 or 3 years. And even then, it's, like, difficult, like until you have a better idea of, like, who you are, it's difficult to let other people know that. So I don't have a great answer to that question.
I mean, it sounded pretty reasonable. So, do you have any groups, projects, websites, blogs, etc., that you're involved with that you'd like to promote?
I was thinking about that question too, and no, not really. I am. Am I supposed to talk about this? I don't know. I'm going to talk about it anyway. I'm part of planning committee for the Black Queer Muslim Retreat with Masjid, MASD. Um, they did. They've been hosting a queer Muslim retreat for the last 6 or 7 years now, but this year they're just doing a Black queer Muslim retreat, which I'm excited about. I'm also excited about helping to plan with this because my inner Pearl gets to come out. Steven Universe reference. Um, but outside of that, I'm just trying to create more like social groups for non-binary people. Me and a friend just started a Facebook group, Break the CIS Philly non-binary group. So we're excited about that and trying to get people to join that, and just have people meet, especially like non-binary people, because we're raised to be in that binary. And it's like I remember when I was a kid, I'm like, people keep saying girl, and I'm gonna be a great woman, and these words don't seem right to me. They don't fit. I don't have the vocabulary to like say no, that's wrong. And so it's like creating a space to have other people that maybe have recently accepted that title, have been known or have known about it for a while, and say, hey, there are other people in Philly that are like this as well. Let's meet up. Let's have a group. Let's talk amongst ourselves and just have a community. It's like you're not alone. And especially black people, because that is not something that a lot of black families talk about, like gender identity and sexuality. And it was a struggle for me. So like it's like, hey, especially younger people, it astounds me how much information is out there
Yeah.
about gender identity and sexuality. So it's like I'm glad that information's out there. So it's like black, queer, non-binary, non-straight people, we exist, and you can exist in your body, and there are other people out there like you.
Awesome. Awesome. It's glad that we're working on having these kind of resources, and I really hope it gets off the ground as well as it could. I mean, I've heard about the queer Muslim retreat, and I've heard how great it is. So a black queer Muslim retreat sounds fucking incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and coming all the way out to my home to be a part of Poly Role Models. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no doubt.